All right, guys. So if you remember, not in the not so distant past, when Zack Snyder and all of the Snyder fans were promoting the idea of getting the Snyderverse, the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie made, they did a lot of work to get that movie brought into the public eye and then brought into the eye of Warner Brothers. Well, the fans of Warrior Nun are on their own crusade to get Warrior Nun brought back to Netflix.
It's like that crusade of the Snyderverse, but like way more annoying.
Yes.
We talked about this before, just on the topic of all of these gay shows that get canceled. Like one of the major themes in the show is that the main characters are gay.
Yeah. So they rented out a billboard out front of Netflix's Los Angeles office on Sunset Boulevard. Mm-hmm. Cost them $34,000. They crowdfunded the money. Look, I got mad respect for people who love something enough that they're willing to raise the money to do this.
They have it there for 4 weeks. Yeah. It says hashtag Save Warrior Nun, and they say that all the Netflix employees, at least the ones who go into the office still, will be seeing this on their way to work for the next month.
They're screwed by work from home.
Right, exactly. I was thinking that, is it a ghost town in there? Is anyone going to see this? I think this comes off as juvenile. It's cool that they're willing to, band around something they're enthusiastic about, but it seems juvenile because they don't understand the reasoning that goes behind a corporate decision like this. And
it's hatred.
Even
right?
the showrunner.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right.
Hatred,
yeah.
It wasn't canceled because of ratings. It was canceled because of bigotry.
Yeah. The showrunner himself, Simon Barry, seems to have a very balanced opinion on this compared to the fandom. He said, more people watched season 1 than season 2. Therefore, it didn't meet the bar that is their internal standard for what is worth renewing. It's not something you can have an argument about. Yet, and he even said it doesn't feel like we are being singled out.
Makes perfect sense.
And yet, the fandom for Warrior Nun, being a bunch of Twitter gays that are likely a lot of high schoolers who don't understand the adult world and the fact that money exists.
I thought you were saying that it wasn't Gen Z that was into this type of stuff. That was into
what type of
into
stuff?
This type of activism. Or no, I guess you were talking mainly just about comic books and in Star Wars.
Oh no, Gen Z is the population of Twitter stan accounts and Tumblr shipping.
It's also, this makes perfect sense because Simon Barry was the creator of the highly underrated show Continuum. Everyone should go watch. Actually, that's impossible. It's Continuum is kind of like the show Haven and Lost Girl, which means they're they just disappeared one day. You can watch Lost Girl on the CW app, and that's
Is that Simon Barry's thing? He makes a show and then it just goes poof.
He's a magician. He didn't make those other two, but it's in the same vein of these shows that are vaguely Canadian. So I love about them.
Vaguely Canadian.
They're meaning that they're Continuum takes place in Seattle, which just means Toronto or Vancouver. It's everywhere stands in, Canada stands in for everywhere, but particularly Seattle. So it's Simon Barry seems like a pretty rational dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fandom has an entirely different perspective than the showrunner, and they seem to be arguing that Warrior Nun got canceled because Netflix is actively working against sapphic representation.
Of course. There's that word
they
again.
don't want to have teenage lesbians on screen anymore. They decided they're anti-LGBT, which, as we all know, obviously is not the case. They have a 28-day rule that, if something is not viewed to completion enough times to a certain benchmark, then it will be canceled. Enough. And of course, they got completely steamrolled by the amazing ratings for Wednesday.
And they're mad about that too.
Stay mad. If you can't compete, you can't compete.
Yep.
And now they're also getting compared to other canceled shows like First Kill. Another is I'm Not Okay with This.
This joke for off air.
Another is The Wilds. There are just a ton of these shows that have a selling point that it is LGBT representation. Now, regardless of whether the story is as compelling as it needs to be to gain an audience season to season, that's a totally different issue.
Yeah.
And I think this petition that they made on change.org, it has 112K signatures at this point.
Not enough to get it renewed.
Signatures don't mean anything, but
literally there's nothing in the world less meaningful or impactful than getting a change.org petition with a lot of signatures.
It means nothing to Netflix that you signed a change.org petition.
It might actually do more good to get less signatures, because then they can make articles about how it got less signatures.
I mean, I guess it means a lot to the fandom internally, because Simon Barry said that if they get over 10 million tweets on the hashtag Save Warrior Nun, then he's going to like reward them by releasing some pages of script and I don't know, some other like exclusive content for them that wasn't going to be released originally. But of course Netflix doesn't care about this. So here's what the petition said. This show was extremely important for representation, including POC, female-led cast, and LGBTQ. Nevertheless, Warrior Nun is a truly rare show that flawlessly blends interesting plot, action sequences, complex characters, and commentary on the blurred line between science and religion to create an incredible fantasy show. Now, if you think it has all of those merits, why did you first mention the representation tokens?
Yep.
If you think that it stands alone on its merits, why would it not continue its run on its own merits?
I just think that viewed to completion is a very profound way to look at it.
Viewed to completion.
They want to be viewed to completion.
Yeah.
Can't just watch episodes 1 through 6. You have to
You know
watch
what I'm
7 and 8.
No?
Do you want to expand upon that?
No, I don't. Completion could mean something completely different.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Because it's about, look at me.
That's
It's
true.
look at me.
That's true.
Because I need it.
They said it's hard not to compare to other tropes similar to WLW. I think that means women loving women romances. And no matter how much we love these shows,
Leslie loving
it will
Leslie.
never be enough. I don't know why they think Netflix cares about their feelings.
Yeah.
It never has and it never will. Maybe they were fooled by the woke marketing
yeah.
that, you know, we care about representing you and coddling you and catering to you.
This like
That's
is
your fault
the
if you
point
fell for
that
it.
like I've made it before and I'll make it again. Darn it! Is that wokeness is not including things like this in your programming. Nobody has a problem with that. It's when you don't have substance or you lead with it because you're afraid that you don't have substance or that you're trying to automatically win an audience by immutable characteristics and not by the craft.
Anthony Williams, I'm going to aside quickly, says Continuum was okay to good, but Travelers had a much better story and characters. I mean, sorry.
He's like, hold on, I have to take this.
You should hit me up on Twitter someday. We'll argue about that. But for something like this, I think what's funny about it is always the marketing, right? Like, you win more fans by not marketing it this way, right? So if they had, like, if I had just clicked on it, right, and liked the show, I would be more likely to watch season 2. But then if I have to watch a bunch of woke marketing, and I as much as I hate that word, that is what that would be. Like, that actually sours me to the program.
Sure.
You know what I was saying? Like, imagine it's 2001. It's 2001, and a trailer comes on, right? And there's Elijah Wood. There's Ian McKellen. You know, there's Gollum, and it says, from one of the greatest Christian writers of all time, one of the greatest Christian allegories ever made. People would be like, what? Like,
why does that matter?
Not even Tolkien would understand that angle to sell this story.
Exactly. He wouldn't do that. One of the greatest Catholic writers of our time who seamlessly put in, Christian messaging or with
special showings at the Vatican.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And some showings will be Christian only. And
exactly.
You would be like, what the hell? I, as a Christian, would be like, this is gross. This is awful.
The vibe I'm getting from this campaign for a renewal of Warrior Nun is one driven by resentment rather than by a genuine enthusiasm for the show.
Yeah.
Because even if the show does have the substance they say it has, all I know about it is it's some religious sect of nuns that fight demons, and some of them happen to be gay for each other, which I wouldn't want to watch.
Weird nun
definitely. I don't like the way that Hollywood treats nuns.
None
but like, even if it has the
better title
merit on its plot and its characters that they claim it has, if that's not enough for the show to be profitable, why do you feel entitled to a corporation continuing on a loss so that you feel validated?
Look, I can respect putting your money where your mouth is to get it made. But the fact of the matter is, like, if you're gonna, like, most shows do go down season to season after a couple of seasons, the ratings will start to go down, but it has to start so profitable that you can lose viewers and still remain.
It started in the middle of COVID, which is
Yeah.
probably why it got renewed for a second season. People just didn't have as many options to watch, and they were stuck at home.
Now they're going outside and they're doing things again.
I bet
We'll
that's
stop
why
that.
they made a second Enola Holmes, because the first Enola Holmes was released during COVID, and it's just what you watched because you were stuck in your house and had to.
They're like, what if we did Sherlock Holmes, but
You
like,
watch this and you better like it.
Yeah.
what if we did like Sherlock Holmes, but like not Sherlock Holmes?
Sherlock Holmes.
Am I right?
All of these streaming platforms became so engorged with profit because of COVID, and then they laid off so many people, and they still didn't use that extra money to invest in good storytelling.
They did. They invested in sapphic storytelling, which somebody in the chat said, what the hell is sapphic storytelling? I said, tell me
I
about
wish
it,
I
brother.
could reverse time and go back to the moment when I learned what the word sapphic meant and shield myself
What's-
from that information.
Well, what's interesting about it to me is I don't think it's got a small audience. I think that they have a hard time reaching everyone. I watched a video talking about the problem with sapphic storytelling from somebody in the community, and it had like 400,000 views. So it's like there's people out there to watch this stuff, but the question is like, so you cut your audience down to a small percentage of people. Theoretically, you could still get all of them if you got the entirety of the population. If you wanted to market just on wokeness, but you'd have to get like literally everyone. Every one of the 400,000 people who cared enough to look up what the problem is with sapphic storytelling in Hollywood would have to then have a Netflix subscription. We'd have to then watch Warrior Nun just to get kind of okay ratings for something that a more broadly sourced show would get very easily because it appeals to everyone. Mm-hmm. It's not rocket science to say that you shouldn't limit your marketing and scope to something that's part of a subgroup or a subculture.
Yeah, and I don't think that Wednesday, which of course massively outperformed it, is immune from propaganda either.
No, that
like
will,
I took note of every
season 2.
Yeah, it might very well be ruined in season 2 of Wednesday with the wokeness, but it wasn't immune in the first season either, and I took note of every single little like stupid line they added in about the patriarchy or mansplaining. Like I noticed those things.
I'm imagining Mary has like a little hangman that she draws.
Yeah,
like
I actually
every time there's a wokeness
I
element
do like
to,
woke bingo.
Yeah.
While I'm watching a new
The woke
show.
hangman would have been very appropriate for the Wednesday show.
It's possible to enjoy a show despite
It was
elements
Pugsley.
like
It was
that
Pugsley.
being included. I believe that I am like very tolerant of those things. Actually,
I think me and you both
I
are.
am with the intent. Yes, it's the manner with which it's delivered with
Yeah.
anything. It's
The
like
fandom-
God's not dead. I'll watch it and be like, okay, well, this is
Yeah,
just
no.
like Christian wokeness. Like it's the same
Yeah.
thing. It's
the
awful.
fandom
It's awful.
just doesn't realize how exactly evangelical they come
Yeah.
across to outsiders.
That's really funny because we're gonna actually I'll save that point because we're gonna be talking about that next. But like
You made a good point just a second ago. Shocking. No, I'm just kidding. About like
Very
it is
shocking.
not. No. Like I love Brett. About like it is not a problem to niche market your product, like or whatever your content is, but it's about the scale at which you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to do that, because shows like that have been around forever. There have been shows like this a long time ago.
the L word was existed in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, or there was Xena, like you know what I mean, like which was not as direct, but it appealed to this same like XenaCon is still a thing. I have a friend who goes to it all the time, and
XenaCon. Does
Yeah.
Lucy Lawless go?
I don't know,
It'd be
but
awesome
it's a
if
lot of
Lucy
women who
Lawless
it's a
went.
lot of WLW. Okay, it's primarily that, if not exclusively, but if you're operating on that like scale, you're going to be successful still, and your stuff is still allowed to exist. Like,
And when that
and if you're
happened-
good, it will grow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I won't pretend to be some kind of expert on the marketing for these things because I think conversely about a movie like Jennifer's Body, that because it was 2009 was marketed on Megan Fox being the
Hollywood
the
doesn't-
sexy like appeal to the male audience when really it would have appealed far more to the female audience,
Hollywood
just
doesn't know how
based
to
on its
market.
plot. They failed with that marketing, yet would they have been any more successful with some like woke, sapphic
At the time,
niche audience at the time?
Juno did gangbusters and was not a
Well,
typical
that's
movie.
not what you would consider sapphic storytelling.
No, but I'm saying, but it is. I'm speaking more from the idea that unless it's an action movie, a horror movie, a romantic comedy, or a straight drama, Hollywood doesn't. There are movies like Jennifer's Body that fall right into this realm of they don't know how to market.
Oh, that's all of them though.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know how to market anything anymore because they are marketing to days past.
Yeah.
And like that's not. I'm not even gonna get started.
Marketing to days past.
Yes.
Go on.
What does that mean?
What do you like? The same people that are in charge of marketing.
Are old.
Yes.
It's like Vince McMahon running WWE's old. Old.
Right. They're not. Their attempt is always to sell to the largest possible audience, which is. It makes sense, but that is not what you are actually doing, and therefore, when you make something to sell to everyone, you sell to no one.
Yeah.
Well, I only heard of Warrior Nun when people started complaining about it getting canceled, actually. So,
I remember when it was brand new.
thank you. Did you ever watch it when it was new?
That's awesome.
See, it's
So bad.
Man.
more intense but shorter than the last one.
Are they still selling Surge? I thought they came back.
Yeah, but it's in this crappy canned version.
Ew.
And okay, I talked to someone the other day. Yes, it is true. Canned soda is better than plastic bottled soda, except for Surge. Otherwise, glass bottle or can.
Glass.
Yeah.
Far preferable. But Surge, the 16-ounce can, oddly enough, it's like in the era of energy drinks, why would you like neuter the soda? Why would you make it less than it used to be? Like it was basically like drinking like a soda version of battery acid before. It was horrible for you.
But now we have Red Bull, which is the exact same.
Exactly.
We used to go to Chuck E. Cheese and just get hyped up on the Surge and just,
Yeah.
Be in the zone,
There was
in the
gambling.
zone,
One of the
gambling.
comments-
Yeah.
One of the comments the first time that sound effect played, somebody goes, "There was a guy like giving it away outside my school." I'm like, you had like a Surge dealer, like giving away free samples, getting the
You
kids
message your Surge plug
That's funny.
for Surge
hooked.
on the black market.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.